Hey everybody, this is Monson Steve. We are on Rolling Out, and this is the Business Exchange. There is a phenomenal young lady who really is there for all businesses who need to understand that their trademarks and copyrights are super important. Rosena is not just a lawyer, she is the business's business lawyer, and everyone should have one. I'm so amazed and proud of this phenomenal young lady and all that she does to make sure that we understand, and even today, the importance of having an attorney and someone who can help you with your intellectual properties. Rosina, how are you today?
I am doing fine. How you doing today?
It's an amazing day because I'm hanging out with you. Just so that people know, intellectual properties, why should they hire you for sure to start, just to get them started out of the box once they've selected a name and some of the other marks that you can share with us?
One, they need to hire me because I always ask people, will you build a house on land you don't own? Would you build a house on land you don't own?
Not at all.
No, right? So it's the same equivalent to building a business or a brand if you actually don't own it. Because just like a landowner can come in and tear that beautiful house down, if they are the owner to the land, someone can actually come in and make you cease and desist the use of using that business name if you haven't cleared the rights and it's actually owned by somebody else. And you don't want to invest in product packaging and marketing material also that it could be turned over and destroyed by somebody else.
What are the mistakes that you see most people make thinking that, oh, I can do this by myself?
A lot of people will go and file a trademark application and not understand, first of all, that there are 45 different classes under trademark law. That's why we have Dove Chocolate, Dove Soap, Mac Makeup, Mac Computer, Delta Airline, Delta Faucet, Pandora Jewelry, Pandora Music. So when they file the application, they think, okay, because I filed the application, I own the name. And one example I can give you is LeBron James had filed a trademark for More Than an Athlete, where there's a nonprofit organization that also filed the trademark even before LeBron and had it registered. And the USPTO actually approved LeBron James trademark applications because the nonprofit organization had their trademark in a class where it was for charitable services for selling t-shirts to raise money, right? Now, there in these 45 different classes, 1 through 34 is products, 35 through 45 is services. So LeBron filed for entertainment services, apparel, like all these other different things, and the trademark office approved it because it didn't look like it would cause confusion with the nonprofit organization because they were doing charitable services. And so once the trademark office approve it, anybody in the public has 30 days to oppose it. Well, now the nonprofit organization is opposing LeBron's trademarks and saying that it will cause infringement. And I'm sure they also thought that t-shirts and apparel was probably protected under their registration as well, not understanding that's a entirely separate different class.
For all the entrepreneurs, just sitting down and getting a consultancy just so that they can understand before they even get started, why is it valuable to, say, pay a few $1,000s up front versus avoid it, do it yourself, and then pay for cleanup of another 50 hours?
You know, I always tell people there's two type of lawyers. There's lawyers that like to fight fires, and there's lawyers that like to prevent the fire. I like to prevent the fire because it's going to cost you way, way more to fight the fire, right? And so a lot of people think when they hear lawyer, ooh, process, ooh, that sounds expensive, right? But what's even more expensive and what they're not considering is if you are going to invest your time, your money, and your resources into building a product or a brand, then you want to make sure that's protected. Like we protect our cars before we drive them off the car lot, right? So you want to protect that baby that you're investing that time, money, and energy and resources into because it's going to cost you even more if now the lawyer has to come in and put out the fire and fight the fire for you.
The very advent of technology
Mhm.
has besieged the community. Everybody thinks Google and AI is their new attorney. What do you say about and give them some insight on how they can hurt themselves being their own lawyer as it relates to intellectual properties?
Yeah, that's a great question because, technology is moving faster than the law, right? And AI is here to stay, but it shouldn't be here to replace, right? Like people can use AI as a tool, but one thing AI is going to lack is a human component, right? And so there are certain things that AI may not even consider because, first of all, it doesn't have the human nature or the experience to foresee things that can possibly go wrong, right? For example, if you are intentionally wanting to build a business, and let's say you have, for instance, a magazine business and you want to build that business, but then so you go in and ask AI, hey, AI, how can I protect my magazine business? It's going to give you exactly the quote unquote advice to protect the magazine business. But then if you sit down with an attorney like myself, I'm going to say, well, Mr. Steve, and also protecting your magazine business, right? You also may want to launch an apparel business, but also too, through your magazine business, you also offer coaching, you have speaking engagements. I remember I came to an event in Atlanta, Georgia, and Dame Dash was the actual keynote speaker at the time, right? So AI can't foresee what humans can foresee, right? And so that's where the human component lacks. And so you don't want to get in trouble with that because I think the last time I checked, the ABA has still said AI cannot represent you in court.
I love that. For many of the young women who are building hair brands and beauty brands and just really slaying the market, having a phenomenal female attorney who really has the insight of women, what would you say to them if you were speaking at a phenomenal place like a Spelman or a Howard about young women really aligning and supporting female attorneys?
Well, one, it's funny you bring up the beauty industry because I was a licensed cosmetologist before I became a lawyer. So I also just understand like the in and out of the industry and just how it is to like be a part of it, right? And a lot of times, especially in the beauty industry, particularly in the Black culture, we create and we inspire a lot of trends, but we are the last ones to profit for them. So that's why it's important as a young beauty professional who is creating something amazing that you partner with a Black female attorney like myself so that I can help and guide you on how to actually not only just create something, but protect it so that you can profit from it as well.
I really am proud of you. And if you were going to speak in a situation where you're going to expire, many of the young people to understand the need to become lawyers. What would you say the top three reasons you would give to them so that we as a community have insight and legal professionals to support us? And thank you for being one.
I appreciate that so much. The top three reasons is, right now, everybody is talking about like rolling back these DEI initiatives and why it's not important. And we know like we barely benefit. I didn't benefit from not one of them. I have a job offer when I finished law school. But the fact that they're showing us that they're not intentional about our success as the Black community, we need to uplift and help ourselves and be able to help our, creators, help our entertainers, our athletes create an economic system within our community. And so to be a champion of that, one of the best ways is to become, an attorney or a doctor or an accountant to help people, a financial advisor. And I would say it's so important because we can lead by and serve by just educating. A lot of us, we just don't know any better, so we don't do better. But like, the top three reasons I would say is to educate, one, provide education, two, create an economic community within our own community so we don't have to rely on other people's initiatives to include us because we have enough power to create our own situations. And then the third one is just so that we can create legacy for our kids who are to come because they are truly our future, right? And as we want to make our ancestors proud, but then we also want the ones coming behind us to make us proud as well.
I want to thank you, Rosina. You've done a phenomenal job. She is the business attorney for all of us who really give her some support. Know that we love her here at Rolling Out for all she continues to do to make us proud and protect us as she serves our community with those who have intellectual properties. heed her warnings, heed her insight, and hire her. I'm Munson Steed for more of rolling out the business exchange with this phenomenal attorney, Rosena. Thank,
Thank you.
thank you
Thank,
so much.
thank you.